Did you know that you can use healing diamonds to find out if an infection is based on an imbalance of bacteria, virus, fungus, mold, or toxins, or even disturbances? The reason it works is because all of life is sustained and maintained by life energy in the form of color ray spectrums. Each type of pathogen responds to color rays in a completely different way. That's how you can tell them apart and also distinguish them from healthy tissue. Healing diamonds are the only crystals or gemstones and the only natural healing tools that can easily evaluate, identify, and then deactivate these pathogens by balancing their spectrums with the body's spectrums. In many cases, symptoms can ease remarkably quickly, sometimes by the end of the session itself. So let me explain how this works. Healthy tissue in the body is fed by a spectrum of all 7 color rays, with one color ray dominating the spectrum. Bacteria have 2 color rays in a 7 color ray spectrum. Viruses have spectrums that only have 3 color rays. So when we test for virus and they only have 1 or 2 color rays in their spectrum, then we know the immune system is successfully dealing with them. I've also learned that engineered viruses carry spectrums that consist of 4 and 5 color rays. This is how I knew right from the beginning with certainty that the COVID-19 virus was not engineered, because every COVID client that I worked with had viral signatures that consisted of only 3 color rays. Fungus, mold, toxins, and energetic disturbances also have unique ways of revealing their presence. Once you have the type of pathogen identified, then you can use healing diamonds, and you'll need 2 of them for this, to balance the spectrums that you find. There's a unique way to use 2 diamonds to harmonize the spectrums of bacteria, virus, fungus, mold, toxins, and energetic disturbances. Each has its own method. You have to find out which type of pathogen you're working with first in order to apply the proper procedure to balance it out. And it's an amazing process, because then you can also retest to find out what kind of progress that you've made. And when you're treating yourself, you can also tell, because you begin to feel better, or things shift with each round of spectrum test and correction that you do. And I say round because part of the protocol is to track the evolution of the spectrum of that bacteria or virus or fungus or whatever it is that you're working with. Usually, you can only get so far working with any one particular spectrum. Then you have to retest, find out how the spectrum has changed, how it has shifted, and then treat again for those specific results. Often when I travel, I come home with some form of a cold. Besides resting, drinking fluids, taking some herbal remedies, there isn't much you can do for a bad cold. But when you learn how to work with healing diamonds in this way, you can move the progress of that cold along so it goes through its phases much more quickly. Colds are viral infections, and in this case, you want to extract the viral colors because they represent an excess of these colors in the body. That excess perpetuates the imbalances that allow the virus to proliferate. When we balance the body's spectrums, it makes it easier for the body to self-heal. Viruses have a strong will to survive, and what we find is that they will mutate with each round of testing and balancing that we do. Remember, viruses have spectrums of only 3 colors. For example, let's say the spectrum of a viral colony that we identify is yellow, green, and let's say blue. After correcting this spectrum, you retest, and now it's yellow, blue, and purple. This shift represents a step in the virus's evolution, or we might say the body's ability to resolve that viral infection. And so we keep retesting and rebalancing, and soon enough, the viral spectrum goes from a 3-color spectrum to a 2-color spectrum to a one color spectrum, and sometimes there are no viral colors at all, in which case we've completed this part of the procedure and we know that the immune system within the body is now completely capable of finishing the job. The thing is, you can feel better right away when you do this for yourself, and it is indeed possible to learn this work in a self-therapy track. I use this particular procedure whenever I feel like I've picked up an infection. Bacteria are a completely different story. What I have learned in working with bacteria is that they are a really important part of our microbiome. Our body needs and relies on its bacterial population to maintain and sustain itself. Healthy symbiotic bacteria, as well as symbiotic viruses, supply our body with healing color rays. These are the color rays our body needs to maintain and sustain itself. So let's say you test the lungs and you find out that their dominant or primary ray is green, but the bacteria test is yellow and blue primary. In this case, the bacteria are not supporting green, but other colors. This is a sign that the lungs, which so far seem healthy, are actually stressed. And in being stressed, they're susceptible to infection. And at first, it will show up in the symbiotic bacteria. An imbalance such as this can be color ray balanced too, even before symptoms have shown up. A really cool thing I've learned about bacteria is that as the diamonds change the bacteria's primary color rays, their spectrum changes and therefore their function changes. It's possible they can morph and become symbiotic. I have seen that happen. Or the spectrum changes in such a way that it is easier for the immune system to dispose of them. I realize what I'm talking about here is a completely different approach to dealing with bacteria than what we have been taught, namely to use antibiotics and kill the bacteria. But when you use antibiotics, you kill both the bad and the good symbiotic bacteria. And now that researchers are learning more about the importance of the microbiome and its role in supporting our immune system, it makes less and less sense to kill healthy bacteria, which are helping the immune system fight the unhealthy bacteria. Now, I realize there are indeed certain dire circumstances when antibiotics are absolutely required. Certainly, if I had an infection that put me in the hospital, well, then of course I would take antibiotics. We use the tools that we need. What I'm talking about here is about energetic self-care. When you're at home and you catch a cold, and either you can't get to a doctor or the doctor has told you, well, basically they can't help you. You have a virus, you gotta wait it out. Fungus are another story entirely. To work with fungus, the key here is balance. You have to balance the spectrum of the infectious fungi with the spectrum of the rest of the body and its healthy fungal population. You can't extract fungal color rays and address them the way you do bacteria. Mold, which is a type of fungus, is a similar story. So we have unique diamond therapy procedures, again, using 2 therapeutic 7 color ray bearing diamonds to address fungus and mold. We also have unique procedures for working with energetic disturbances and toxins. Learning to work with pathogens and self-therapy with diamond therapy does require some basic knowledge and the proper diamond. You have to have a 7 color ray diamond and also a few gemstone tools. So it is an investment in your health. At the Gemstone Therapy Institute, we have a self-therapy track, which is different from the practitioner track. Nonetheless, to learn how to work with pathogens, you have to first learn how to use one 7 color ray bearing healing diamond. And that's a 1-year program. The course is called Diamond 102. Then you have to learn how to use 2 healing diamonds in self-therapy. I also highly recommend that you take Color Ray 105, which is a gemstone approach to color ray testing. And to do that requires a few gemstone therapy level 1 courses. Then if you plan to work with others to do this work for someone else, then you take the practitioner track, which includes additional coursework, including how to work safely with others in a remote setting. There are so many benefits of healing diamonds. They are such a unique crystal. That's why I call it the master crystal. Well, I'm sharing these benefits in no particular order, just what topic happens to inspire me when I sit down to think about, well, what benefit do I want to talk about next? Looks like we're at benefit number 10 right now, and there are many, many more unique healing applications and benefits of therapeutic diamonds. I hope you're enjoying my journey of cataloging them all in this way as much as I am. My name is Isabel Morton. I'm the founder of the Gemstone Therapy Institute. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone that you love. For more information, check the profile box for links. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Oh, except the heater's on. That's why we have to because they represent